So I'm simply going to introduce monopolistic competition at this stage. So monopolistic competition has two big points. It has the word monopoly, and it has the idea of competition. Okay, so it has a bit of both. So it's a little bit different than oligopoly. It's quite different than oligopoly, and it's a mixture of kind of some form of monopoly with competition. Why is this the case? So let's just see what makes an industry a monopolistic competitive industry, and go through a bunch of examples, and then you're going to see how these two kind of ideologies blend in together at this point. So what do we have in monopolistic competition? So we have many buyers and sellers, similar to perfect competition, but here we have many. Instead of having an infinite amount of sellers, we have quite a lot available, but we're not to the point that none of these have market power. So let's say that these firms may have market power. Okay. Free entry and exit is also common. You could enter or exit this industry. Like any other industry, there's maybe startup costs, but there's no one prohibiting you from doing this. Perfect information was assumed for all the market structures to keep it simple. And fourth, which is really the one that makes the big difference here, is that we're dealing with differential products. In the past, when we were looking at perfect competition or oligopoly, here we were dealing with identical products. What is differential products? Well, it's products that you could easily distinct a difference between two different products. So gasoline from Petro-Canada or Shell, not differential. It's, for most people, it's identical. If you think of Coca-Cola and Pepsi, very similar, but there's a difference. For some, a lot of people prefer either one or the other, so it's definitely differential. If you think of an Apple iPhone versus a Samsung Galaxy or something else, even though they're similar, they're smartphones, they have similar features, they are definitely differential products. People do not value all the different options the same way. Cars, anything else. So anything that has a certain brand name attached to it, this is often associated to a certain brand name, would be differential products. If you're thinking of even toothpaste at the grocery store, if you're used to seeing a lot of adverts on either Crest or Colgate or Arm & Hammer or something else, and you really associate yourself to this brand, you're going to have a tendency to go towards this brand when you get to the grocery store and you need some toothpaste. So differential products associated to brand name. So many examples. Most industries would be monopolistic competition. Like you think of anything that you buy, going from clothing to electronics to if you're going to build your own house, to housing materials, to sports equipment, cars, pretty much everything. Most industries are in monopolistic competition to a different degree, but they're pretty much all in this. So why monopoly and competition? As I mentioned before, well, there's competition as soon as we see a certain company making profit selling a certain thing. There is no thing prohibiting other companies from coming in. It's very different from if Pfizer comes with a new pharmaceutical drug that cures cancer and has a patent on it, even though other pharmaceutical firms may observe that they're making a lot of money, they can't enter. Okay? But here with monopolistic competition, it could instead be I produce something that's not patented, sadly, like a stand-up paddleboard or something else, and people notice that I make a lot of money, so they might copy me, and it introduces some form of competition. Okay, so this differentiation could be caused by real quality differences, or it could be caused strictly by advertising and brand names. So in certain things, you might see a big quality difference. And in other instances, if you're comparing Levi's jeans to no-name jeans or something else, might just be through advertising. And you see that as well if you're looking at no-name products sometimes at the grocery store. I've been told that some of those products are essentially the brand name product, the exact same can of tuna or something else, simply that there's no brand name on it, so you pay less for it. But sometimes it's the exact same can that was produced at the exact same location. They just want to cover the whole kind of like spectrum of options from the brand name to the cheaper option to maximize their profits. So it could be through advertising, through brand names. Some people don't see a difference in quality between Apple and other computers, whereas some people really love Apple, so it all depends. Okay, but there is differentiation in monopolistic competition, which is the key distinction with oligopoly. So just to put that down one more, when we were thinking of oligopoly, which led us to game theory, we had the situation that we had identical products, or close enough to being identical products. And when we're looking at monopolistic competition, we're looking at more differentiated products. On that note, you could still think of maybe PepsiCo and Coca-Cola forming some sort of cartel because they're just a few players in that industry, or often in the past we've heard of Molson and Labatt price fixing. Well, that's still some form of oligopoly, but to me, Molson and Labatt are both pretty terrible beer, pretty equivalent beer, so that would be a situation that they're pretty identical. Okay? So, but monopolistic competition, we're dealing with differentiated goods. So we're going to go through an analysis of profit maximization in the next video and looking at how it all happens.